It's Mac the Guru. This is my review for Black Adam. This will be a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out and then come back. Also, subscribe to the channel, click that like button, check out the other content. Now, this movie was good to me. It was real good to me. Like, I liked the movie once I finished it. Going through it, it was definitely parts that I'm like, no, that ain't right. You know, just watching it, going through it, it was some parts they need to work on, and DC need to work on as a whole. And one of them is definitely the villains. I mean, the look of this villain was bad, man. It reminded me of Justice League movie. Remember the main villain in there? It just looked bad to me. They gotta brush up on them villains. But it was definitely some parts I really liked in this movie. You know, the jokes was, they was hit and miss. The jokes was hit and miss. But some of the fight scenes, in Hawkman and Black Adam, the fight scene in the room, when all the comic book or the comic heroes, Batman, Flash, Superman, they all was like on the wall of this little kid. And Hawkman and Black Adam was fighting in there. That was an amazing fight scene. It was a bunch of fight scenes that I really liked. And they kept the action up in this movie, which was a good job. They paced it well, and they were able to tell the entire story. And at the beginning, it was a little shaky, but by the time they got to the middle part and they got to Black Adam actual story, they changed it up a little bit from the comics. But once they told Black Adam's story, I was totally invested in this movie. By the time they got to that part, I mean, like, emotionally, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a great movie. And then when Dr. Fate passed, I'm like, yo, I just met this character. Even though I knew who Dr. Fate was, I just met that character, and I just felt like I was attached to him. And when he passed, I'm like, dang, he sacrificed himself for everybody. Because remember, Hawkman was supposed to pass. He was gonna go. I mean, Black Adam wasn't gonna be able to come back if it wasn't for Dr. Fate. And I hope they bring back that character. Probably gonna be somebody else playing a role. But that was a character that I really liked. And they kind of had Hawkman and Dr. Fate working together as the two leaders. But to be all the way honest, I think Dr. Fate make a great leader for the Justice Society. I think he do. He make a great leader, but he gone now, you know. So hopefully somehow they can bring back the character, because his character was amazing in the entire movie. And then, of course, The Rock was amazing. You know, some of the jokes was definitely hit or miss. The jokes was definitely hit or miss. But all in all, once you finish this entire movie, you will like it. And Superman did come at the end. So we had been hearing all this, will Superman come? And it was just the ending credit scene. But it was dope to see Superman and Black Adam. And they might not be fighting each other either, right? It's probably gonna be somebody else that they fighting. Or it might be a point where they have a fight. But I don't think they gonna be consistently fighting each other. Because by the time Black Adam got to the end of this movie, he wasn't the same person when he first woke up, right? Because they were able to flush out his entire story in this one movie, which is difficult to do for a character that people know, but he's not like Batman or something. They had to flush out Black Adam's whole story, and I believe they did that. And he was on the good side by the end. He was talking to Hawkman, he was talking to the other characters that was there, and he had totally did a 180 by the time the ending scene came with him and Superman, you know. But all in all, this was a very, very good movie. I do gotta take a little bit off because some of the CGI at points wasn't that good to me. But I really did like the action scene. I went to see it with my son, and I asked him after the movies, we definitely gonna go see Black Panther 2 also, but I asked him what he thought about it, and he said he liked it. He thought it was real good too. So I'm like, okay, you know, the kids like it, I liked it. So I think the Rotten Tomato score, because when I checked that before I went to see this movie, I was like, oh my God, this this is bad. It might be bad. And I went into it thinking that. You know, that's maybe why I didn't like it at certain points at the beginning. But by the time I got to the end, I'm like, no, this ain't as bad as it shouldn't be at 52%. It ain't that bad. You know, I do 7 stars on this channel. Out of 7 stars, I'm going to give it a 5.6. 5.6, which is good. It ain't quite in that 6 range. I even go 5.7. 5.7, that'll be my, you know, for this movie. 5.6. Because you do got to take something off for some of the jokes that was some of the CGI that was and then the villain. That's where you got to take a little bit off. Oh, and one more thing before we get out of here. It was points in the dialogue where it was like they would do a slow, like, scene on Black Adam or a slow scene on one of the characters, and it's like they would say like one word or something, and it just wasn't captivating the moment. It's like they didn't know what words to say right there, so they would just say something real simple in that moment, and it just wasn't all the way there. So you gotta take something off of that. And it was basically good and some parts that was not so good in this. But it ain't a bad movie. That's the craziest part. It's not a bad movie. By the time you get to the end. You gotta get to the end though. If you watch the first 15 minutes of this, you like, uh-oh, they in trouble. After watching the first, that's exactly what I was thinking. They in trouble. But as you keep on going, you're like, okay. Boom, then it get good, man. It's Back to Guru. If you're still here, make sure you subscribe. Check out the other content. We will be doing Black Panther 2. We will be doing Avatar 2. Definitely Dungeons and Dragons and different movies that's coming up. And of course, we always got our shows that we doing consistently. And as always, man, y'all be easy, be safe. Peace.